The No Shame Podcast is brought to you today by Father and Son Construction. No jobs too big, no jobs too small. We're father and son, we do it all. Now, you know I was the Hall of Shame guy, and I busted a lot of bad contractors. So people come up to me all the time, and they say, well, Rob, hey, I got to have my basement redone, or I got to have a new roof put on. Who do I contact? Who's a good contractor? Honestly, I only know one company that I would recommend, and that's Father and Son Construction. I've known them for a long time. When I had my basement remodeled, I hired Father and Son. They did a great job. They did a drywall ceiling. They did everything. One of the things I like about Father and Son is that they're licensed. They're guys that follow all the rules. They pull their permits. I know the owner of the company, and he's a guy who's on all the building boards, and he's just a good, honest, decent guy, and the company is top notch. Licensed salespeople come out, licensed builders, licensed electricians. They're not playing around. They pull all the permits. When your city comes and inspects their work, they're going to give you the thumbs up. There's not going to be any of these things where they come in and say, oh, yeah, you got to redo this. This wasn't done to code. Father and Son Construction, honest people, good people, and a great company. The only company that I would say I recommend is Father and Son Construction. You can call them today at 248-585-5500. That is 248-585-5500. Father and Son Construction. They're good guys. They're honest guys. That's who I'd hire. That's who I did hire. Welcome to the No Shame Podcast. I'm your host, Rob Wolchek. My co-host today, Sean Parker.
Great to be here, Rob. I tell you, I've been waiting all week.
All right. And the lovely and talented producer, Laura Moore. Hi, Laura.
Hi, it's great to see you.
All right. And coming up today, some scams to watch out for. Did you know your Roomba vacuum may be spying on you and weirdos might be using them to blackmail you?
A spy vacuum? That sucks.
Of course it sucks, Sean. It's a vacuum cleaner. I wrote that joke, folks. There you go.
That's brilliant, Rob.
Yeah, thank you. That's why
That
it's my
is
show.
brilliant, Rob.
Plus a scam victim who seems to be a little bit too gullible. How about a guy who scammed his employer out of $80,000 worth of Mac and Cheese?
That's a story I could sink my teeth into, Rob.
That's a good story, Rob.
Oh, that's a good line, Laura. Who wrote that?
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. And some political news. Two different candidates running for office and acting like goofballs, each acting like fools and idiots. What kind of people run for election nowadays? And our final story about a missing man who ended up in the belly of the beast. Well, perhaps he had a little bit of company inside the crocodile's belly.
Wow.
That's
boy.
a story I can sink my teeth into, Rob.
That was supposed
It's
to
a
be your line
good
for the mac
story.
and cheese story there, Sean. That's
It's
all
a
right.
classic.
All right. Let's get into those scams. According to Technology Today, scam artists are using Roomba vacuums and Ring cameras to blackmail people. Roomba vacuums aren't just those dopey drones that change course every time they bump into something anymore. They're smart. They have cameras connected to them. Hackers just need to get into your Wi-Fi and they can see your camera. Now, this is the same technology that's in your Ring doorbell cams, and this has been a problem for them for years. However, hackers can get your footage, but you're pretty unlikely to be sitting around in your underpants outside your front door. However, now that they got these same type of technology things on a Roomba vacuum, what they're actually doing, these hackers, is they hack into your Wi-Fi system and then they get the footage, and you might be on your couch, in your underpants, eating Doritos. I figure if you're a person that's lazy enough to have a Roomba vacuum, yeah, I'm talking to you. You may be a person that likes to lay around their underpants and maybe smoke a little pot or do something else. What do you guys think?
Well, that's really troublesome because Roombas have full access to your house. I mean, they can go all over the place. So you're talking about a camera having access to your kids, maybe even casing the layout of your house, revealing some personal stuff, not to mention, the whole underwear situation, which is kind of frightening.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
why would you want a camera on your Roomba vacuum? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. I mean, maybe to follow your pet around or something, but I don't
well,
get where that's an advantage.
they say that it's to make the vacuum better, and it probably does make the vacuum better. But I'm kind of guessing the Roomba people probably might be selling information saying
Oh, yeah.
this is a person that's got a lot of nice things in his house. This is a person who
Wow.
does this, that, and I mean, all of these companies, the selling of information now is so incredible. I don't doubt that the Roomba's idea of having the camera was just to make the Roomba vacuum smarter, but obviously, it comes at a price, and they may also be collecting information on you. And the thing is that you might be sitting on the couch. I mean, when you're alone in your house, I mean, everybody does things. They scratch themselves. You might eat way more. You might take out a tub of ice cream and eat the whole tub of ice cream yourself. Not really things you would probably want people to do. And I'm guessing other people do crazier things than I do, eating a tub of ice cream.
Well, and as it is, there's cameras everywhere. When you're out in public, you have a good chance of getting caught on camera, but this is way more personal. This is, in your home with your family. And, like you're saying, whatever you're doing, some stuff you don't want people to know about. You should have some privacy in your home.
Yeah, and
So
like your Picasso or something, Rob. You don't want. I mean, people could case your house.
yeah,
That's a great
absolutely.
point.
Know
So
where you're
here's
keeping
what
the
it
good
says.
stuff.
It says here the hackers steal the footage and then blackmail people saying, here's some video of you with your lover on the couch. And unless you give us
Jeez.
10 grand,
Jeez.
we'll publish it.
That's
Wow.
that's serious.
Yeah, that
That's
Really,
sounds
that's
intrusive.
very
so if you
intrusive.
have your lover over to the house, don't run the Roomba. That's
Don't
the
vacuum while having an affair.
All
Got
right,
it. Good
important
advice.
safety tip. Thanks.
All right, we got another story. This one's from the
Yep.
Daily Mail. The headline is Urgent Warning to iPhone Users Over High Alert Scam Stealing Life Savings. Delete now. Okay, so that comes into your phone. A Lancaster, Pennsylvania resident named Barbara lost $24,000 after receiving that very text message, and it said, Apple High Alert. Now, the message claimed money had been removed from her bank account, prompting her to call a number if she hadn't been the one that made the withdrawal. Well, Barbara didn't do it. So the worried lady called the bank, or what she thought was the bank, and they told her, yeah, we're going to have to close that account, and you're going to have to go down to the bank, grab all the money, and then we're going to start a new account for you. So she did this. She actually went down to her bank, withdrew $24,000, and then like Western Union did to the person that was supposedly from the bank. Why she went into the bank and why the people at the bank didn't say something like, why are you taking $24,000 out? But I don't know. But she took the 24 grand out and she wired it to somebody, and it turned out to be a bank in China, and they stole all of her money. Now, you might say that she was a little bit gullible, but as someone who has almost fallen for a scam myself involving a bank, which I'll talk about some other time, they get you when you're really vulnerable, right, Laura?
Yeah. Rob, you and I have talked about this. This happens all the time, and it almost happened to me within the last year. And it's embarrassing to say so, but they wear you down. I mean, they're professionals. When I think back to it, this guy knew exactly what he was doing. He was wearing me down. He was frightening me. He had me convinced that I had done something wrong, and if I didn't fix it, I was not only going to cause myself all sorts of problems, I was going to cause him all sorts of problems. So I felt pressured. There was an emotional drain. I mean, he nearly had me taking $40,000 out of the bank. And they when I read up on it afterwards, I realized how many mistakes I made and how many red flags there were. And I would like to think that I'm generally pretty intelligent, wouldn't fall for this, but I absolutely almost did. And it would have been very costly. So I feel bad for this woman. I know, you said you thought she was a little bit gullible, but I'm just as gullible as she was. And I think it happens way more often than people realize.
When I used to work for the Hall of Shame, I used to always make a big point out of not victim shaming. And also, I really realized that the scam artists, the guys running their scams, whether they're selling fences or they're these overseas guys making these phone scams and all of this, just remember, we went to our jobs. We worked 8 hours a day. We were really good at our jobs. That's what these people are doing. That's their
Absolutely.
job, working
Yeah.
8 hours a day, trying to find somebody they can trick out of money. And, it pays well, $24,000. He might have called 100 people that week, but he got one lady to bite for $24,000, and that poor lady lost 24 grand.
Yeah, and they only have to get one person once a day, and
Yeah.
they make all their money. So it's very scary, and I would just say the biggest warning is just to take a minute, think about it, and then maybe confide in somebody that you trust about what's going on to protect yourself.
Yeah. I mean, they're professionals.
Mhm.
They're trained. I'm sure they have training classes and things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
for sure.
It's shocking how hard these people work at not working, man, it's terrible. Don't
It is.
trust anyone out there.
Don't trust
people.
anybody,
Don't
seriously.
trust anybody.
And finally, in scam news today, an ex-employee of a fast food restaurant made a magnificent mac and cheese profit, illegal profit. Started with 800 orders of mac and cheese. Then there were $80,000 in mac and cheese refunds. Well, it tipped off the big bosses at the Chick-fil-A in Grapevine, Texas. And believe me, those are some sharp bosses, just like sharp cheddar cheese at the Chick-fil-A in Texas. Top notch. Police say after months of investigating, surveillance video revealed a former employee was returning to the register and repeatedly refunding himself. Officers finally found the fromage fiend, and now he's facing multiple felonies. I'm guessing this cheese heist was very grating on the folks from Chick-fil-A.
Good one, Rob. Hey, how do you fall for it that many times? I mean, 800 orders of mac and cheese. I mean, wow.
Well, and think about the guy. The guy was fired, and he kept showing up and going behind the register, and this didn't tip anybody off. Like, nobody thought it was weird that if I was fired from someplace, I wouldn't necessarily go there and shop some more, and certainly
Yeah.
wouldn't go behind the counter. Nobody noticed.
Yeah, and Chick-fil-A's are kind of a big time fast food restaurant. This isn't like Billy Bob's Diner out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Chick-fil-A, they got a lot of employees. They got, they're nice facilities. They're always busy. I don't know, but
And it took
this guy
months
managed to pull it off.
Yeah,
to
he
figure
got
this
away
out.
with it for months. You know what I mean? At what point do you think I've got to get caught? I've done it 800 times.
Yeah, why does Bill keep coming back here? Bill's always hanging around. Oh, Bill just went up to the register. Crazy stuff. Sean, what would you do with $80,000? Buy a ticket to a playoff game?
Well, Rob,
Jesus.
I did find something for us. The Knicks have a super strong fan base, and they've been awful and irrelevant for years.
Well, now they're the champs.
Right.
Yeah, well, that caused a big ticket problem. They haven't been in the finals since 99. They haven't won a title since 73. And ticket prices for regular season games at Madison Square Garden are the highest in the NBA. Even when the Knicks had the worst record in the league, they were still the most expensive tickets in the league. So you can only imagine how much they're going for now. Well, basically, Game 3 at MSG were an eye-popping $7,000 for standing room only, and then Game 4 had a minimum get-in price of $7,500, with courtside seats going between $300,000 and $500,000. The most expensive seats in NBA history. Now, Rob, I know you're an NBA fan.
I
how
am.
do you feel about those prices?
I think it's really ridiculous. I took my kids to round 2 of the NBA championship series, whatever you want to call it, with the Pistons, and I paid $900 for 3 tickets, and they were pretty good tickets, but they weren't anything special, and I thought it was outrageous. I mean, $900 is a lot of money, and I
Yeah.
just don't understand how they can I don't know how they can charge that much, and it doesn't seem fair to the fans. I mean, imagine
No.
being a Knicks fan for years and years and years. And I just wonder who's getting all this money. I mean,
Right.
I know they pay the players a lot, but I mean, $7,000 just to get into the game. I mean, that's outrageous. Who has that? And I got to imagine some people feel like, I mean, there's got to be people that are really hurting after that.
Mhm.
Oh, for sure.
All about the
Absolutely.
experience. I think it's worth spending money for an experience, but I have read a lot about this in the last month, and all I could think about when I saw any clip from the games was not what the players were doing, but scanning the seats to see who was in the seats and imagining how much money they dropped to be courtside. That's all I could think about, and it was kind of gross to me.
And I think some of what's really sad is that Ben Stiller,
Yeah.
I heard they asked him how much he spent for courtside tickets, and I believe that he said he got the tickets for free because the Knicks
Gosh.
wanted them. So they stack those celebrities that all get to sit down there, Kylie Jenner or whatever her name is, and Timothy Chalamet. They want them there. And I know they used to do that at the Lakers too. So
That's even more outrageous.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
many
because
of
they're
them are-
actually people that can afford it. You
Right.
know, I mean, there's some schmo in there who just blew, half his 401k to sit down there because he's lived his whole life waiting for the Knicks to be in there. And he might be sitting a row back of Timothy Chalamet, who's got millions and millions of dollars. And I don't know. It's outrageous. Something's got to be done.
And they lost game 3. I mean, how would you feel if you spent all that money on a loss? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the game I took my kids to, they lost too. So
Yeah.
it kind of sucked. $900 down the drain, but it was fun. It was a great experience, but it is outrageously expensive. Let's go to some political news. Are you guys ready for some political news?
I am.
Sure.
You love political news.
I do.
You don't hear enough political news nowadays.
You really,
That's a
no
real
one's talking
problem.
about
you really
politics
don't,
these days.
you
So
know,
let's dive in.
Sure.
First, in Los Angeles, former reality TV star Spencer Pratt of The Hills wanted to be mayor. He was running for mayor of Los Angeles. The Republican was gaining momentum ahead of the primary election, his success fueled by some election videos going viral. Pratt lost his home in the deadly Palisades fire last year. In his ads, he blamed the current leadership for not protecting the people of LA and said he'd been forced to live in a trailer park. Can you imagine that? The poor guy had a fancy pants house in the Pacific Palisades, and now he was living in a trailer park. But not so fast. TMZ found out that Pratt was actually living at a swanky hotel in Bel Air, which is by Beverly Hills. It was called the Hotel Bel Air, not an Airstream trailer, as he had been saying. When confronted, the mayor wannabe claimed that the hotel stay was necessary due to security concerns. However, the guy lost in the primary, so he made a lot of headway and he made a name for himself as a politician. He did lose in the election, but he claimed someone burned down his business after the election. So perhaps he really did have some security concerns because the fire was real. No telling who said it, or maybe it just started
that's what I was
naturally,
gonna
but the guy's
say.
business did burn down. So regardless, the guy was pulling somebody's leg to get a little bit of sympathy, acting like he was living in a trailer when he was actually living in the Hotel Bel Air. But then again, he said it was for security concerns, but then somebody burned down his business apparently.
what better way to stretch your sympathy vote in your 15 minutes or 5 years of fame or whatever he's had than to try and get, I call suspect on that.
It does seem a little sus.
Nice. Look at you keeping up with the kids.
The fact that he's had two fires burn his stuff down seems a little shady to me. I tend to agree with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. And obviously, if you lived in, I did reporting out there in LA after the Pacific Palisades fire. And I mean, I feel super bad for all of those people that was a huge swath of beautiful homes that got burned down. So I do feel sorry for the guy for that. I don't necessarily know it was the current administration in Los Angeles' fault. It was a natural disaster and a tremendous one, but whatever, he lost. However, we have another wannabe politician who's up to some different tactics, I would say. Different tactics.
Another mover and shaker.
Yeah, to get elected. Very good, Laura.
Thanks.
Shelby Campbell is running for Michigan's 13th congressional district seat, and she's an independent, and she twerks on TikTok for votes. She's running against Sri Thanadar, I guess is how you say it, who's a millionaire, and she says she doesn't have his resources because Sri is a very rich guy, and so she's using her own method to get her message out. She told Fox 2 she's young and she's using social media, and it's a hit, and her videos are getting a lot of views. But is twerking really working to motivate you to vote?
Nice. I like what you did there.
Good for her. You know what? If that's what she wants to do, then, more power to her. You're right. She can't afford all those ads. Those ads all drive me crazy anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the twerking, and it does seem a little bit lowbrow for someone that you'd be electing to Congress. I mean, I know times have changed and people get away with a lot more, but and I know she's competing against a guy who's got millions and millions of dollars, but not exactly my idea of someone. It's not going to win my vote. It might get my attention, but it's not going to win my vote.
No, I think our political leaders need to be role models, and this is not a role model for me.
I would like to see Sri Thanadar twerk, though, perhaps.
Yeah.
Let's see, twerking for votes, a twerk off.
Yes, a twerk off. That's a great idea.
I would watch that.
I would.
I just said I wasn't a supporter, but I would watch that.
Way better than a debate.
Definitely.
Oh, way better.
We can get a sponsor for that. We could sponsor that.
Have you heard about the driver who got stopped by the cops for holding a cell phone? It's illegal to hold your phone and text or drive in every state now. Well, this driver had a pretty good alibi for why she was not guilty. She only has one hand. The officer that pulled her over and accused her of using her cell phone while driving, to which she raised her right arm and revealed that she didn't have a hand on her right arm. So she clearly could not have been holding a cell phone. She laughed at the officer and said, obviously not, then asked, you just want to call this a day? Well, apparently this cop was one of those cops that didn't find anything amusing about this and certainly didn't want to admit he was wrong. So the Florida deputy did not back down and said he was sure he saw her holding a cell phone in her right hand while driving. And he even wrote her a ticket for $116 for texting and driving. Remember, he said he saw her texting with her right hand while she was driving, and she has no right hand, and he still went through and gave her the ticket. She had to go to court to fight it. The judge did dismiss the charge for insufficient evidence. It was all caught on body cam, and the video has gone viral.
I was embarrassed for that cop. I cannot believe that he didn't back down. I mean, it's like, how do you... Oh, that was so embarrassing.
I mean, he kept repeating himself and going, no, I saw you within your hand. And she's like waving her arm with no hand.
I have no hand. Yeah.
And she even gave him the out. She was like, do you want to just wrap this up? And he kept saying, no, I'm pretty sure I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that. Well,
Yeah,
clearly
I mean,
not.
to write it anyway and to know that she's going to go into court and know that it's going to become viral, that was
It's
silly.
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Well, some cops, that's, I am somebody who really supports law enforcement, and I think cops are great, but there are some cops that are just jerks, let's say
Well, there are
that.
just some people who can't admit when they're wrong. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
This guy didn't want to admit he was wrong. That's for sure.
That's
yeah, if I
taking it a bit
if I
far.
ever am wrong,
I will tell you.
no, I will admit it. But so far, I don't believe I have been.
No, I don't
Ever?
believe that could happen, Rob. I don't believe that could happen.
Thank you, Sean. That's
You're
why
welcome.
Sean's my sidekick,
Mhm.
and that's why Laura is the producer.
That's right.
All right. And now we have a story that is jaw-dropping. It's about a ravenous reptile whose favorite food is not gator tots. Get it? Gator tots.
Got it. That was good.
I don't think I
that was
wrote that one.
Gouda.
Oh, yeah. I believe you wrote the gator tots line. Did you not, Laura?
I might have.
Yeah.
That's the story I can sink my teeth into.
According to
They
the
never
Daily
get
Mail,
old, you know.
According to the Daily Mail, a desperate search for a missing businessman in Africa leads to finding his car stranded on a flooded bridge. This was at the Kamati River in Mozambique, a river known for flooding and another big danger. At first, investigators thought the man may have drowned until they spotted the other danger, crocodiles sunning themselves on a small island. One particular beast did not seem to be bothered by the mass police activity, remaining still as helicopters flew overhead. Perhaps he had just had a large meal. That's when Captain Potguider began to suspect that missing man may have met a more gruesome end. Officers first killed the croc, then Potty, hanging by a rope, was lowered by helicopter to retrieve the 1,000-pound reptile. Wow. It was quite a sight. What was a worse sight was when they cut the croc open and found Mr. Businessman inside. As horrible as that was, get this, they also found in the belly of the beast a ring and 6 different shoes.
That's a collection.
Were the shoes Crocs?
Boom. Laura for the win.
Yeah, that's a dunk.
Now, that crocodile truly has no shame. And with that, we say goodbye and see you next time on the No Shame podcast with me, Rob Wolchek, and Sean and Laura. See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening. We are No Shame with Rob Wolchek. Check us out anytime wherever you view podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. No Shame with Rob Wolchek. You can like us, subscribe, and comment. We'd love to hear from you. And I can't personally promise, but I personally promise Rob Wolchek will individually answer every message. You can also find Rob on X, Facebook, and Insta. Just search Rob Wolchek and keep listening. Thanks for tuning in.